Students, how is a personality made? It is through years of experience and experiment that a mind develops a way to interact with other people. But some personalities are ready-made. Douglas Hofstadter discusses this phenomenon in his book I Am a Strange Loop. Consider this question. What would Charlie Brown do if Lucy sets a football before him and tells him that on her mother's grave she will not pull it away? He would try to kick it. You know this despite having never seen Lucy give that exact promise before. That means that this is not just a memory in your mind, but that you somehow have predictive power over Charlie Brown's actions. This means that you have a model of his personality inside you, that you can drop into situations. You could even act like him, if you wanted to. It is a fact of fetal development that the cells from infants often migrate into and persist within the bodies and brains of their mothers for years after birth. This phenomenon is called Microchimerism, and according to the December 4th, 2012 issue of Scientific American, is not at all uncommon. This sort of interpersonal colonization is possible in the hard science world of genetics. Could it not also exist in the messier world of the mind? A personality is a structure, of which utterances and activity are mere expressions. The structure of the Max Headroom personality is made explicit in its origin story. It imbibes media and spews it out. It doesn't take in sensory input, it ingests media directly. Could it be that the combined effects of mass genetic engineering and chemical stupefaction in connection with the Chicago hijacking were intended to make the audience receptive to the implantation and eventual growth of the Max Headroom personality structure? Preposterous, surely. Unless... There is a part of the Max Headroom video that we haven't yet accounted for. It is a tuneless few bars that the internet, the gracious internet, has identified for us as belonging to the 1959 cartoon Clutch Cargo.
Clutch Cargo with his pals Spinner and Paddlefoot in another exciting adventure, the case of Ripcord Van Winkle.
The regurgitation of this theme song demands we look deeper into this cartoon.
There seems to be more flying going on inside this hangar than out.
It's circling around. It's coming.
There is something here that is extremely off-putting. In terms of the race to create cheap and quick animation in the 1950s, Hanna-Barbera's repeating backgrounds or Walt Disney's gross exploitation of workers, this projection of human lips onto cartoon bodies is surely the most uncanny. This is the work of U.S. Patent number 2739505 for Synchro-Vox recording. There is a peculiarity in this patent. It describes a technical process for what appears to be merely a grotesque animation technique, but then at the end of the explanation of 2 or so pages, there is a long works cited list. This is not industry standard practice for patents, nor is it really proper academic practice either, insofar as the works cited are not actually cited in the text that we have available to us. After examining the patents on this list, it is my theory that there was a good deal more to Synchro-Vox technique than listed here, and some mixture of illuminated pressure from the Synchro-Vox firm and bureaucratic resistance from the patent office landed at a compromise which pointed toward those other elements incorporated into the larger Synchro-Vox project, but didn't specifically detail the ways in which they were incorporated. Examining these patents opens a whole vista of interlocking and arcane processes that were developed for encoding a particular type of signal. We have in these pages hints of a process which only an infernal imagination could forge together into the real engine of hypnotism required for the Max Headroom project. Consider these elements. Patent 2008938 demonstrates a method for creating a camera which has a certain subtle strobing effect, an effect that Dr. Stephen M. Freitag suggests in his paper, The Use of Light and Sound Technology with Hypnosis would agitate viewers into a suggestible state. Once that person has been made suggestible, they would perhaps be submitted to the machine described in Patent 2075198 for a delusion apparatus. This goes into significant detail on how a personality, or metaphorically, a face, might be constructed and projected into a viewer. Meanwhile, Patent 2501958 illustrates another method for projecting a personality into not just a face, but a whole person who has been blanked, here illustrated as a figure with a void for a head. Patent 2309390 suggests a taxonomy of superficial personality distinctions which may be carouseled or replaced on ever-decreasing real individuality. This, I suspect, was an early phase of the prototypical development before the development of the Max Headroom personality. But the most damning of all these references is the earliest in the series, the one that laid out the entire project in 1906. Patent 833448 shows the plan most clearly. From Figure 1 to Figure 2, we see the transformation of a blank vessel into a smiling, cartoon personality. The development of this project, from its conception in 1906 through the final step of Syncro-Vox in 1952, was the essential technology that the Max Headroom project was based on. 5 years later, the technology was complete, and Vickery began his experiments in Fort Lee. He joined with the Coca-Cola Company to research the methods of enhancing the essentially optical method of subliminal control which he had been developing in concert with other illuminated masters throughout the first half of the 20th century. Taken altogether, one can see the outline of the conspiracy. Mass media allows the projection of artificially constructed and simplified personalities into hollowed-out, blanked subjects. It is the Videodrome signal after all. The construction of Max Headroom, a personality entirely oriented toward the consumption and creation of advertising and media, and the use of media and optics to disseminate him into the artificially softened, hypnotized, and genetically stupefied populace, is a conspiracy of such magnificent scope that not even the illuminated masters could see it through successfully. It seems as though it were on the cusp of working. The Max Headroom brand was spreading and becoming a true cultural phenomenon. Masks were available everywhere. And doubtless, it was beginning to seep into the minds of individuals everywhere, preparing a gentle revolution of the contemporary populace into a junkyard of media-spewing consumer robots. But the plan was too effective for its own good. The fetal Max erupted on the world stage in Chicago in 1988, and I believe there he died from exposure. The project crumbled. New Coke, too, died a long, tedious death. Max Headroom's various contracts dried up, and Syncro-Vox has all but completely fallen out of use. But did it really die, or did it just transform? Certainly, the genetic project persisted, and has continued mankind's march toward the monogene. And shortly after the Chicago catastrophe, certain illuminated masters began other projects. The Illuminati is a wily organization that is always adjusting its plans, and perhaps accounted for this failure before it even began. We will examine this aftermath in the following video, the last of our series. Until next time, may the Pyramid's eye watch over us all.